Welcome to the land of reality, where the truth will be heard. And we don't give a damn about your feelings. So stomp your feet, cry if you want to, scream and shout, cause we don't give a damn, fanboys. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
There he is.
Welcome, everyone, to the Wednesday Live. Greetings, gentlemen. AOH, Speam, Sports and Fitness Rants. Robin, if you could do us the honors of shouting everyone out, I would appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely, man. Once again, it's great to be here on another Wednesday Live edition, man. Shout out to my man AOH for coming in right on time, man. Thank you to be here. My man Speam's in the building as always. Shout out to the Real Cyberius as always, man, for leading us through on these Wednesday Live editions, man. Shout out to you guys in the chat, man. I see the same people coming through, always coming in early. Shout out to Machiavelli. I appreciate that. Sovereign N7, he says RIP to Tim Curry. Yeah, I just saw that not too long ago. Rest in peace to Tim Curry. This was going on, we all know we're getting old, and this was going on. The people that we grew up watching, if we're getting old, obviously they are getting old, man. So rest in peace, Tim Curry. Chase 1738, shout out to you. Shout out to my man Vicente Garcia, Sleepy Audi, Ivan 1294, Raider Nation, Lanetta 402, Chip Ferguson, my man George in the building. What's up, George? Anthony Sanchez, Rock Stefani, Speck of Fantasy, Mike Lowry, the real Mike Lowry, QB to LB, Speedy Eagle, Boom Shakalaka, Big Brazy, Pink Lady Scorpio, the Third Eye 369, my man Cruz Mers. I know I jacked your name up, but once again, shout out to you, Brandon D. Harrell, my man Jam Red. Once again, my man Howard Hollis in the building, Red's Dog. Shout out to you guys. You know the deal. Let's roll.
Excellent job as always, Robin. Speam, say hello to everyone.
Yeah, hello, everybody. Shout out to the chat. Rest in peace, Tim Curry, as always, the OG Pennywise. As my man said, let's roll.
AOH, anything you'd like to say to start?
We back. We back.
Woo!
The Warriors roster is complete. Who says they don't help Steph Curry? Woo, we're back.
Nice.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, that's great stuff right there. We definitely got to talk about that, man. Again, shout out to everybody. I see you guys coming in. Terrence Potts, Hamzas, David Young Sr., Sarah, shout out to you for coming in. Thank you very much, guys, for hanging out with us on Wednesday.
Well, we got a full show. We got some soundbite reactions. Warriors signed George Niang and Brandon Williams. Does Klay going to the Heat change anything? LeBron has flopped over 1,000 times, but has only been fined twice. And then some miscellaneous discussion talking about conditioning and Warriors local radio. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip of Brian Windhurst and a few others talking about LeBron. And yeah, let's get into it.
It's not something he's done very often in his career, and he really doesn't like it when a team has his number.
Front runners, meaning when things are going great, we all in it.
I mean, he's changed teams in the past a couple of times when he's felt another team has his number.
When things are going bad, they pull apart.
When the Celtics had his number, he went to Miami. When the Warriors had his number, he went to LA.
LeBron has stacked his teams. Let's be realistic.
The Nuggets have had the Lakers' number. What's his move? He doesn't really have a move.
Played with so many guys. He's a big guy who has led the charge in terms of super teams being put together.
Yeah. Does he want all the good players? He don't want to compete. He's got to have all the best players on his team. He want everybody. He don't want to compete. He want to be the favorite all the time. It just pisses me off that a guy that great don't want to compete.
There's no way that, just hindsight, I would have never called up Larry, called up Magic, and said, hey, let's get together and play on one team. I mean, that's, in all honesty, I was trying to beat those guys. I don't know if they would have been on my team. If we'd been on our team, obviously, when you look at the Dream Team, they were on my team, and it wasn't too much of a competitive thing. I'm a competitive guy, and, I like to play against competitive players and, see what happens from there.
He's not comfortable being an underdog. It's not something he's done very often in his career, and he really doesn't like it when a team has his number.
Coward.
I'll let you guys go first. Go ahead.
Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff.
Was D Wade really say that? That's not. He really said that?
Yes, I need this first. I need to ask this question first. What was the context? Was it another case of them trying to make an excuse for LeBron James and accidentally exposing him? Because I don't, like Sports and Fitness Rants is pointing out, I don't understand why Brian would say this unless he's fucking up without meaning to fuck up.
Well, I mean, I think that's what he's doing. So I made a video specifically about that clip. But I believe he is trying to be in defense of him.
About what, though? I didn't hear that part.
The problem is that I don't know. The clip that I showed is the only point of reference that I had.
Right. Yeah, like, for example, I pointed out the Kendrick Perkins thing saying, they don't look up to him anyway. Kendrick Perkins wasn't defending LeBron James. He was explaining why not to hold LeBron James accountable for not participating in the dunk contest in the All-Star game, or for showing up and then saying, hey, I'm not going to play. Basically finding a way to say, well, why are you criticizing LeBron James for being a despicable coward? No one looks up to him anyway. There's no other scenario in which Kendrick Perkins would say something that critical unless he thought he was actually coming to LeBron's defense. So that's what I'm wondering. What was the conversation that would ever lead Brian Windhorst to say something like this?
It's a good question. I got the clip from the basketball show.
And it starts right there, too. So there's no more
he didn't really preface it. So, yeah, I don't really know.
I mean, to see the thing about Brian Windhorst, and we talked about some of this stuff before, as far as like the media members, and Brian Windhorst, make no mistake about it, is obviously one of the media members. When you think about some of the things he's talked about over the years and some of the things he said, see, this goes back to the lack of consistency by these guys that are supposed to be journalists. They're supposed to have some level, or carry themselves with some level of professionalism. It's their duty to report the facts, not only just report on their feelings, because that's what you get a lot of times. These guys trying to report based off their feelings. So they feel a certain way about LeBron James. A lot of times Brian Windhorst seemed like he was just, doing a lot of these stories and wording the story. I mean, if you think about a lot of the things that Dave McNamara and Brian Windhorst write, the articles that they have written for ESPN, you have to sometimes look at the details in the wording that they choose to use in a lot of these articles so that they can make LeBron James look a lot better, even in situations where it's hard to make him look good. They'll defend the indefensible for LeBron James. So when you talk about, that's why I say my first reaction when I'm hearing some of these comments is, did he really say this? Because, dude, you're all over the goddamn place. Like, the thing that he said about LeBron James doesn't really like competitive, environments. Like he runs away from the competition. When he speaks to that, the sad reality is that's what we see from LeBron James. That's exactly what this speaks to. And when you listen to the sound bites from the different players, they had Dr. J there and Charles Barkley, speaking. They had Michael Jordan's comments and his thoughts on teaming up and stuff like that. It just shows that all of these people, everyone's aware that LeBron James has done this stuff. And I think that's what people are missing when they talk about what he's doing now. They trying to act like, yo, man, LeBron James 41, 42, man, who cares what he's doing now? No, he been doing this. He been doing this. He didn't just do this now. And everybody's like, yo, why LeBron James try to stack up at 41? He been stacking up. That's what everyone's alluding to.
Don't you think also, though, that it's weird that we continue to try to delve into somebody's psyche or motivation as to why they're doing something if they're supposedly supposed to be the greatest at something? If you go back and look at all the greatest players that we've watched, right? we don't sit and pick apart Giannis's decision making. We don't pick apart Luka's decision making. We certainly didn't pick apart Jordan's decision making. I'm just naming like high caliber players, right? But we sit and pick apart everything LeBron does and says, and so does Brian Windhorst. It's weird because you're just actively building in excuses in real time. It's like this at AOH, you brought Rick Bucher up saying this. It's admission is, what's the quote?
Declarations or confessions.
Thank you. Declarations or confessions. It's along those lines. It's if we're going to continue to talk about why LeBron did something or why he didn't do something, you're only asking those questions to continue to build excuses. Nobody else asks these questions about, you don't ask these questions about Kobe. You don't ask these questions about Jordan. They're talking themselves further into a hole.
Just a little detail cleanup. I would say that there has been some scrutiny over Giannis. But with Luka hasn't even gotten to make a decision. He got traded.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
But listen, the thing about, Speam, some of the things that you're saying here, when you talk about, they didn't scrutinize these guys, or they didn't, with nitpicking, or we're, picking at LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? Without picking at LeBron James, again, it's about how they're promoting. Like, think about, for example, all the LeBron James supporters, they keep bringing up Charles Barkley. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. They'll say, oh, look what Charles Barkley did. The problem goes back to the promotion. No one's comparing Charles Barkley to Michael Jordan, man. Charles Barkley's not being argued as a top 5 player, top 10 player, maybe arguably the greatest player of all time. Charles Barkley's not in those conversations. So why then do they bring up Charles Barkley to try to make a point about what LeBron James is doing? So again, it goes back to the promotion of LeBron James. Brian Windhorst has promoted LeBron James as the greatest player of all time on ESPN. So if you're going to do that, then you can't turn around then and talk about, he don't really like competitive environments. Then how are you promoting him as the greatest player of all time? Once again, it speaks to the contradiction that you have to be contrary if you're a LeBron James supporter. And that's what's always come back to. Shout out to Jim from Self-Research, NBA Facts in the chat.
Oh, you know what, Robin? Let me clarify on that because I maybe I didn't communicate it effectively. What I'm saying is I think that whenever you turn on ESPN or a Brian Windhorst or one of those personalities, I have a better sense of what I'm saying now. They spend more time doing a character study on why LeBron James did what he did and when he did it. And when they do that, they're only doing it to try to justify his decisions. And they're only creating more of a mess. That's what I meant to say. I'm not saying that we're nitpicking what he's doing. I'm saying they overanalyze everything he does. And that compounds on the fact that everything he does is already calculated. So you're taking a problem and stacking it on top of another problem. You'll never get a clear picture that way. That's what I was trying to say.
For example, one of the most beta excuses you'll ever hear to try and justify him was one detail that I left out of the video I recently made, the cap one. And there were so many things to cover. I left this one out, but someone in the comments, rightfully so, pointed it out in that he wanted to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Like, do you understand what she said? Do you understand how pathetic and embarrassing and emotional and immature that is? I want to feel appreciated. Just go fucking win and compete and shut your goddamn mouth.
If only that was possible.
No, but listen, that's part of it. I mean, we heard LeBron James on the golf course talking and making excuses. This is what we talk about. Like, I'm in a dark place. Like, all these years later, you're still making excuses. And we talked about this before. You have to learn and understand how to lose like a grown-ass man. Lose like a true professional. And LeBron James has never been able to lose with class, lose with honor. Look at the way he acted when he lost in 2011. The way he acted when he lost to Boston in 2010, ripping the jersey off, walking off the court. I mean, if you guys think about how they lost in 2011, a lot of people don't mention he walked off the court on that one too. Dwayne Wade was there shaking their hands with Jason Terry and Dirk Nowitzki and all those other guys after they beat them. LeBron James already in the locker room. He was already done. Everyone else was showing their respects to the Dallas Mavericks. LeBron James been doing this stuff. And that's the problem for a lot of these guys that have been promoting LeBron James on ESPN all these years. I mean, is it not doing a service to the actual NBA and the great players, of the era? They've wasted a lot of time. They talk about, we're wasting LeBron James. No, they wasted a lot of other players' primes and careers trying to hype up LeBron James all these years.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about how long Steph Curry been playing. Steph Curry been playing for a goddamn long time. You ain't never hear no one call Steph Curry. Yo, Steph Curry 40. Steph Curry 40. Steph Curry 40. Steph Curry 40. Look what he's doing out here. And Steph Curry's game is predicated on him being able to run all over the goddamn court. He can't just throw guys up off of him. You know what I'm saying? So this is the kind of stuff we talk about. No one talks about how long he's been playing the goddamn game. And he ain't got the size of LeBron James. He ain't got the, millions of dollars on his body every offseason. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I leave the court early to go get my treatments. He ain't taking the natural vitamins and the smoothies of LeBron James. Are you kidding me right now? He's a smoothie king. But ain't no one talking about Steph Curry all these goddamn years.
Smoothie king.
These fools out here pumping up. They talk about Scottie Pippen more on these goddamn platforms than Steph Curry.
Well, and as we talked about before, LeBron's been 40 since he was 35. Yeah, I was going to say Curry's, flirting with 40 and nobody talks about it.
It's not even a joke. Like I've been doing this for 8 years, and when I started, LeBron was like 34, and they were calling him 38.
Yeah,
and you're going on 40.
Yeah,
what he's doing at this age.
Hey, shout out to Woodage. Shout out to also S. Milkoff. They said, Robin, you had a few mics for lunch.
Yo, shout out to everybody out there, man. And shout out to you guys, man, for the Sunday show. You guys did, man. I was watching the Sunday show later on that day. You guys did a great job again, man. Shout out to everybody that shouted me out in the chat. Man, I appreciate you guys.
You were missed.
I heard definitely. I heard a soundbite this morning, and the host, I can't remember. It was like a major network, not a YouTuber. And they said LeBron James leading the 76ers. Come on, guys. Yeah, we're talking about disrespecting Curry and people like that. How about the ongoing disrespect to young people who are never going to get their chance because the NBA continues to choose LeBron James? I mean, LeBron James is leading the 76ers, who have a recent finals MVP on the team. Tyrese Maxey about to reach his peak moment in the NBA. Edgecombe, we're never going to get to find out what he was going to be.
He'll be a trade piece.
It's over.
He'll be a great. He'll enjoy the beach whatever team he goes to.
Well, that's a great point, though, AOH. The things you talk about, how they promote it again, leading the Sixers. Again, every time they talk about the Sixers potentially winning a championship, it's not the Sixers. It's LeBron James winning a championship. No one really gives any credence to what the actual other players on the Sixers are going to actually have to do on the court. I mean, goddamn, the Sixers, the other guys are going to have to be amazing for them to win a championship. Joel Embiid's going to have to be there at MVP level consistently. Jaylen Brown's going to have to be just as good, if not better than he was last season on Boston. Like you said, Airways, Tyrese Maxey is actually going to have to show and prove and be that level player. And Edgecombe's going to have to, despite all odds, against all odds, he's going to have to actually go out there and play some sort of game and actually show some sort of development alongside LeBron James, who's been known for stunting guys' developments, and hogging the limelight and putting guys and making them. See, again, remember, it's about them having to make all of those guys now, they have to make the adjustments. It's on edge. I mean, think about it. You're in your second NBA freaking season, and now you think you found your niche on the team. Yeah, okay, man, this is what I feel like I'm good at. All of a sudden now LeBron James coming in, goddamn grenade gets dropped on your ass, man. You don't even know what to do now. Okay, do I stand in the corner and post up and spot up for the 3-point shots? What do I do? Am I the guy that has to set screens now for LeBron James? You don't know what to do. I'm gonna be the guys who have to cover for LeBron James on defense, and he's gonna look at me like this. Yo, man, what you doing, man? Come on, man. What do you do now?
Just Edgecombe, if you're listening, hang in there. The Warriors will be happy to pick you up in 10 years. Just get nice and old, and the Warriors will sign you. Hang in there, buddy. There's always a home for used up people in the NBA at the Warriors.
Al Horford.
39.
But yeah, he's got to be.
Congratulations
close to
for
40.
re-signing him.
Yeah. Woo!
Re-signing him.
That's something.
That's wild.
I mean, the thing that gets me about all of this talk of LeBron leading is he hasn't won an MVP in going on 14 years. He hasn't won an all defense going on 14 years. He was gifted an NBA second team with a negative plus minus. I mean, that doesn't necessarily count. Leading them to what? Disaster? That's the only thing he's leading them toward.
Reminder to everyone, because this is going to get lost in history. LeBron James was not actually an all-star this year. They literally gave him an all-star slot. But that's going to be forgotten in time. They literally said because this might be his last season, which is a bad enough excuse in the first place.
Yep.
But we also knew damn well it wasn't his last season, which makes the excuse even worse. And I would also like to talk about his MVPs that were with the Cavs before joining and the Heat time. I don't understand how that translates to being the guy that lost you the finals. Like, I have a hard time believing that he really performed like an MVP in the regular season, if that's who he is in the finals. That's a lot of games to go back and look at to disprove that he was the deserving league MVP. But I think that is enough to at least make you suspicious.
I agree. I thought the exact same thing for 2011. He won, or he was gifted an all defense, first team all defense in 2011, and then shits the bed against Jason Terry. That doesn't negate. Like, come on, what are we talking about?
Listen, it's not to be mean to Jason Terry because he was quick, but he didn't just get beaten by Jason Terry. It is bad. I mean, it's really bad. It looks like a professional basketball player dribbling past me.
Yeah.
And I want people to remember. Oh, go ahead, AOH.
Well, I'm just saying it wasn't like LeBron barely edged out, Terry barely edged out LeBron. He just destroyed him.
It was cooked the entire series.
Right. And that's part of, I mean, remember also, during that series, I don't know if a lot of people remember, it wasn't only like when LeBron James was out there, getting quote unquote cooked and Jason Terry was, making these certain moves on LeBron James on these switches and in certain scenarios. If you remember, there were so many instances during these games when the momentum was turning during the series where they were in LeBron James' face trash talking him. I remember vividly Deshaun Stevenson. Yep. Does anyone even remember Deshaun Stevenson? Yo, this guy was like the 10th guy on the bench. Yo, he was in the game making plays in LeBron James' face. I mean, they had no fear of LeBron James. These are the kinds of things that we're alluding to. So it wasn't just LeBron James was missing shots. All great players have bad, series or scenarios where they're not making shots. It's the mental stuff too. The trash talk. How Jason Terry was all in his face. These guys were playing with so much bravado against LeBron James. I mean, the audacity of some of those guys to talk to the GOAT like that. To go about their business like that on that stage. And LeBron James, when he talked about not 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. I mean, goddamn, dude. I mean, you that thing got talked or trash talked by Deshaun Stevenson.
Well, I mean, that's a perfect example of when they talk about no one is afraid of LeBron. Those guys didn't look afraid.
No. Not only that, it's not like Jason Terry, if I remember correctly, had been on a tear that entire playoffs. He instilled his entire will onto LeBron James. He did exactly what you do. You step up and you complete the assignment. It's not like he was going through the playoffs on this historic tear, Jason Terry, which makes it even sadder for LeBron.
And just in case this also gets forgotten in history, in Luka's season where they went to the finals, do you guys remember the matchups against the Lakers and Luka would headhunt LeBron? And an announcer's even acknowledged that Luka was headhunting LeBron. Don't come around pretending that LeBron James was great on defense anytime in recent history, and I might go so far as to say ever. Luka was headhunting this motherfucker. And then you put Luka on LeBron's team, and suddenly it's Luka's defense that's questionable.
Think about how many players have had career finals on LeBron James. You know, guys like Jason Terry having career moments on LeBron James. Andre Iguodala got an MVP against LeBron. The man came off the bench. Off the goddamn bench. They was like, yo, man, who we got down there that we could... Oh, yo, come on in, man. They brought him off the bench. And not only did he come in there and they were like, yo, we need you to play some quality defense against LeBron James, maybe force him into some tough shots and some tough spots. No, the man also went out there and got them some baskets in timely fashions that LeBron James could have gone out there and played defense again. So you didn't do anything. Not only did not go out there and capitalize in the clutch time moments against Andre Iguodala, you couldn't even shut the man down. How do you let him average 16 points a freaking game on you? And then you think about what Kevin Durant did to his ass in 2017. Are you kidding me, man? I mean, the dude was just stepping in the shots right in your face. You're backpedaling, looking around, looking for Richard Jefferson, looking for some. Yo, man, RJ, where you at, man? You ever see LeBron? He's always looking to switch off. Go watch the freaking games, man. He's always looking for a way out. Always, man. Always.
Hey, what was the Spurs' strategy? Oh, let's stick a rookie on him. I mean, Kawhi Leonard was born because of LeBron James's patheticness. He became a household name thanks to LeBron James.
I mean, think about like that moment that LeBron James has another iconic moment from LeBron James' career when he's at the free throw line and Kawhi Leonard checks back in the game and there goes oh damn, shucks, oh man, oh no, not Kawhi Leonard coming back in here. Are you kidding me, man? You ain't never seen no competitor standing at the line and be like, damn. It's like Will Chamberlain being mad that Bill Russell never came out the game. Bill Russell never subbed out. I mean, that man never checked out. He played every goddamn minute. You ever see Michael Jordan at the free throw line and Dennis Rodman checks back in? He's like, goddamn, man, Rodman again. Oh, damn, Dumars is coming back into the game again. I mean, this is insane stuff, man. I ain't never seen Kobe at the line and Bruce Bowen's coming back and he's like, God damn, man. Damn Bruce Bowen again. Yo, these dudes ain't worried about this stuff.
Nope. Real quick, before I get far behind, let's get to some of these supers and gems. Not sure who these new members are, but did want to highlight them. They're members to one of your guys' channels. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me which.
Well, if it's me, thank you.
Yeah, who's that? Yeah, shout out to you. Thank you very much. Chill with Benny.
Let's see. Vincent Garcia, AOH. Who's PLP? People, Speam, Cyberius back with another one. Thank you, Vincent Garcia.
I don't know who PLP is.
Center Scoldham again with 5 jewels.
Yo, shout out to everybody dropping the jewels out there, man. Don't forget to drop those jewels, guys. We really appreciate the jewels. I know we made a lot of jokes about the jewels before. I still don't really understand the fullness of it, but shout out to the jewel droppers.
How much does how much does an SB's speech pearl necklace cost to send?
You guys, mama's pearls on.
Rise above anything coming through. LeBron stacked the deck when he left the Cavs. Shake my head. Absolutely.
Word. Shout out to Rise above anything.
Through again. Thank you, sir. LeBron played with Wade and Bosch, 4th and 5th pick. For real. Shake my head.
What? Shout out to Rise Above Anything. That's so true. That's the facts. I mean, I said the more you do the digging on LeBron James' career, I told you it's crazy the things that you'll see. Dude out here just stacking everything.
Robin, since this one is for you, you want to read it?
Shout out to Phantom Black for coming through with the super sports and fitness rants based on something you asked last week. I was able to derive from Basketball Reference. LeBron 235 for 354, 66.38% on technical free throws. Only 15 of those he was either season or career best shooter on the floor. Yo, that is amazing. Yo, shout out to Phantom Black. Goddamn Phantom Black. I hope Phantom Black is still in the chat, man, and you didn't come and go and just drop the jewel on us and leave. Once again, thank thank you very much. That's an amazing thing for you to come out here and drop on us. 66% for a guy shooting a technical free throw. And again, it actually leads me into something I wanted to mention real quick that I saw the other day when I was watching one of these old games. I was watching the 1997 NBA Finals. And there was a game there where the Bulls got a technical foul, right? Or the Jazz got a technical foul. The Bulls were shooting the free throw. And you know who shot the free throw? Steve Kerr shot the free throw. And Michael Jordan was on the court right there. And Steve Kerr shot the technical free throw, not Michael Jordan.
Absolutely.
And Michael Jordan was an 83% career free throw shooter. So who's going to be mad if he would have shot it? That's how much it doesn't mean to Michael Jordan to get the point. It's about who's the best possible chance to make this free throw. And whoever's on the court, it happened to be Steve Kerr.
Hey.
Absolutely.
What clip were we looking at recently where LeBron James is doing his passive-aggressive bullshit again? He's got the T-shirt on that says, "I broke the record, but that was never the goal." Dude, you were taking your teammates' technical free throws. It was 100% your goal. You never left a blowout game. You shot all the go-ahead layups at the end of games that didn't matter. You stayed in all the blowout games when you were ahead and when you were being blown out behind.
Yep.
His pursuit of getting points is directly associated with some of the worst seasons that the Lakers had. They were losing badly, but LeBron was getting his numbers.
Yeah.
That's right, AOH. That's fantastic. And that was his main focus. His main focus was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Look at the seasons there. LeBron James, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he averaged about 8 3-pointers a game. 8 3-pointers a game. That man was shot jacking the high hell. In what reality does LeBron James thought he was playing in China? He was out there just chucking up threes, goddammit. You didn't know where the hell you was. 8 threes a game. Dude, you can't shoot free throws worth a damn. And you were taking 8 threes a game. You really thought you were Steph Curry. You thought you were somebody you're not. You thought you were in China filming that commercial.
Yep.
Let me point out why that's even crazier. What's the strategy often used when trying to make the system work for LeBron James? It's spreading the floor. It's bringing in shooters. So you've got all these shooters on the team, and LeBron is still shooting 8 3-pointers a game. It's not like it was a team without anyone who could shoot.
Right.
It's not like he didn't have a choice. He was making terrible decisions and not letting people who should have been shooting shoot while shooting a crazy number, in my opinion, a crazy number, 8 3-pointers a game. I guess it's all relative because fucking 8 3-pointers a game is the average for every single person in the league now, right?
Well, all that's happening, AOH, while he's turning everybody else that's not supposed to be a shooter into a shooter. It's a team of shooters, whether they're a big man, whether they're the ball boy, whether they're the coach. Everybody gets turned into a baseline jump shot artist, whether they want to or not.
Did you see Kevin Love in that opening intro of Cyberius's? He looks so young and happy, and like 2 years later, he's got a head full of gray hair and slits on his
the
scars on his wrists.
Mental health
for
having a mental breakdown.
Yo, AOH, man, you on the money right now. Yo, LeBron James be killing careers. He kills them. You play with LeBron James, your career ends. Michael Jordan extends careers, man. He breathes life into careers. LeBron James, man, your legacy, how you're remembered, all of that stuff takes a major hit.
Think about BJ. I was thinking about BJ Armstrong in relation to a Mario Chalmers. Like, why do we know? Why do we know who BJ Armstrong is? Yep. Because he was the man. Because he was all that. He was drafted by the Bulls. They stuck with him, and he ended up being good enough to be part of the starting 5 of 2 of 3 of the first three-peat.
Yeah.
Mario Chalmers was already on the Miami Heat when LeBron James went there, and then they brought in a whole bunch of other talent. And as far as I remember, Mario Chalmers gets more ridicule than praise, even though he played. I didn't think he played poorly, but unless you're a perennial all-star, that's not good enough to be a teammate of LeBron James.
No, Airways, that's a great comparison, man. BJ Armstrong and Mario Chalmers, I think that's a very viable comparison. And you think about, like you said, being drafted into a certain situation of the Miami Heat. I mean, the man came and playing with the super team Miami Heat, Mario Chalmers, and BJ Armstrong being drafted onto a team with someone like Michael Jordan, and the way that he approached practice, remember, is the key difference for being alongside of Michael Jordan. And like you mentioned, we remember BJ Armstrong. These guys, they're valued members of that championship team. No one thinks that BJ Armstrong was just some hanger-on or just a guy on the team that won. No, BJ Armstrong had moments, man. He was important in those championships, man. I tell people all the time, if you think about BJ Armstrong in the 93 NBA Finals, man, his defense against Kevin Johnson, outstanding. I mean, outstanding. Kevin Johnson, he was handcuffing this man. He had Kevin Johnson frustrated. I've told you guys, in my opinion, Kevin Johnson should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. And BJ Armstrong was in the man's jersey for the entire goddamn finals. One of the reasons why the Bulls were able to win that series, even though they both scored the same amount of points on offense and Charles Barkley was balling, Michael Jordan averaging 40 freaking one, was because BJ Armstrong was handcuffing Kevin Johnson from going off in these games as the second best player on that team, man. So we all remember the guys that Michael Jordan played with in a much different light. And someone like Mario Chalmers, that comparison is outstanding. What do we remember about Mario Chalmers? He had to tell LeBron James to stop being a BI on the sideline. I don't remember that about, BJ Armstrong. But like you said, he's remembered differently, and he was actually a solid player that could be viewed in a lot different light.
One of the things that
Robin,
I remember.
do you remember how they framed that entire interaction, Robin? When LeBron apologized moments later, they said that was him being a good leader. That's exactly how they framed that. He said, my bad, Rio, or whatever stupid ass nickname he had for him back then. And they said on the announcers, they said, that's what a great leader does, blah, blah, blah. But Mario Chalmers was actually the leader. He was waking his ass up. Not one of those announcers said Mario Chalmers was actually being an effectual leader by waking the biggest pussy on the court, waking his ass up and telling him, take control. All they said was, well, LeBron's a leader for apologizing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with apologizing. A great leader does apologize. But Mario Chalmers, in this example, was the leader. And so what again, was just saying, he's more ridiculed now.
I got to put more detail on that. He didn't apologize for not playing well. He apologized because he lunged at Chalmers.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm referring to.
It got worse before it got better. Yeah. He went after his teammate. That's who they're calling a good leader. On television, he went after his teammate for getting criticized. So no. I don't give a shit if he apologized or not. You don't get to be labeled a good leader after doing that. The minimum that he could have done is apologize.
Well, especially when you're lunging and the arena knows you have no intent in doing anything. So you're being a coward on multiple levels. It was like the prototypical hold me back. It was the prototypical hold me back before I do something. Actually, I'm pretty sure he was physically held back.
I mean, these stories are embarrassing when you think about this. Think about these. These are LeBron James stories. This is what people talk about, the cookies and all this other nonsense about LeBron James, man, always pouting and moaning for things. The man actually had the nerve to bring up the goddamn pills in the hotels, man. I mean, you can't even think about I can't even think about Michael Jordan one day coming on the microphone and be like, yeah, man, listen, what do you want, man? The hotel that we were in, it wasn't the right pillows. This is laughable stuff, man. Goddamn. Even if those guys were sleeping in the hallway because they couldn't get in their rooms, there was some malfunction in the hotel and they were sleeping in the hallways, you think they're going to tell you about it in the post game? You think they're going to come out there and let you know about it later on and be, yeah, man, you guys don't know, man. We were sleeping in the hallway that night. So, things were rough for us, man. You don't know. That carpet out there in them 5-star hotels, it ain't like it used to be. Come on, man. This is nonsense. Think about when we talk about Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, the dynamic, and what he did for Dennis Rodman, and how Dennis Rodman's mind works sometimes, and how you got to try to give him the focus, but what he did for his career, right? We talk about reviving guys' career, breathing life into their careers, right? Think about what Kobe Bryant did for guys like Pau Gasol, but not only Pau Gasol, someone like Ron Artest. Ron Artest was thought about as a guy that was violent, he's a head case, he's unpredictable, he's kind of a guy that you don't know what you're going to get from him, you can't really get him to focus enough or long enough to win. And all of a sudden, Ron Artest now is remembered for hitting that shot in the corner, man, for the LA Lakers, helping them win the finals. So when you think about, someone like Ron Artest and the Mouse at the Palace and how he was being remembered and thought about, he was able to have almost a completely a turnaround and another kind of moment later on in his career alongside someone like Kobe Bryant and coming through, and you saw the connection there in that moment.
Yeah. Real quick, let me get to the rest of these supers here. I just don't want to get behind. Pink Lady Scorpio coming through with the 10 jewels. Thank you. Breezy Wulong. Porky Pig would have outscored LeBron, and Porky was a bench player in Space Jam.
Shout out to Breezy Wulong.
John Freeman coming through with 10 jewels. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John Freeman.
Amanda Ruiz coming through yet again. Imagine having a rivalry with the journeyman that used to give LBJ buckets since his Washington days. A mother effing minimum guy was giving him hell.
Yo, shout out to Amanda Ruiz, man. Always coming through, true supporter. Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, Rise Above Anything coming through again. 2020 LBJ didn't go against the top 75 player in finals.
Shout out to my man Rise Above Anything, man. There's a lot of things LeBron James didn't do or go against in his career. And that's like, especially the grind.
That's a great stat.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. AOH, I don't know if you were serious when you said that you wanted to talk about the Jordan video that I did recently. I don't know if you wanted to just talk about the clip that I showed in it or something in the video. I don't know.
I can't remember.
All right, well, we'll just skip past it. Let's go ahead and talk about Warrior signings. Since that was one of your topics, go ahead and let's talk about it.
You want a slow clap? You want a slow clap build up for your team?
We don't have to spend much time on this.
Your audio's jacked up.
Do you have the clip that
You're going in and out, AOH.
Yeah, I do have that radio clip.
Let's just laugh about. I thought it was hilarious because I couldn't tell if you listen to the local sports radio. They've tried so hard to find a way to be positive. Are you guys really excited about this signing? Are you actually making?
Yeah,
your audio
is all jacked
Hey,
up.
you're going in and out, AOH.
I thought that was me.
Fun of the signing, and I was just curious what you guys think because it took me a long time to lean toward.
Are you on Speam's internet?
I was gonna say he must be podcasting from Alaska.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
I mean, listen. I'll just say something. I guess in regard to what the signing. I actually tagged my man AOH when I found out that they had just signed this guy Gordy Niang or whatever his name is. And I was laughing as soon as I saw it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And when you think about the wording of the article, it talked about how the Golden State Warriors were wrapping up their offseason. Like they just made some miraculous move. Yep, wrapping up the offseason now. We're all done making the moves that we're going to make. We're ready to go. We're retooled and we're looking for another push to drive the championship with Steph Curry in his twilight seasons. God damn it, we don't give a damn about Steph Curry. I mean, you got to be freaking kidding me, man. This is who you bring. You bring a guy whose name I cannot pronounce. That's who you bring to the Warriors. You bring the most irrelevant players in the most irrelevant times of their careers. This is what you get from the Golden State Warriors over the last, 5-6 seasons or so. I don't know what the hell's going over there in the Golden State Warriors. People talk about, they're wasting LeBron James years. They have wasted Steph Curry's seasons here. If you think about the Warriors just a couple of seasons ago, they were on the verge of possibly going to the Western Conference Finals. They were Steph Curry hamstring away from beating the Timberwolves in the second round, man. They beat them the first game that Steph Curry played. And then he went down. They lost 4 straight games in a row, man. So they were that close to being in the conference finals a couple seasons ago. All right, with the bare minimum roster that Steph Curry's been playing with, yet and still they can't get this goddamn man anything, man. And you see all these players going up somewhere, and there you still go, Steph Curry getting signed, the most irrelevant damn people in the NBA, man. I mean, come on.
AOH, I gotta ask you a question, real fast here. You probably weren't big on the Jimmy Butler signing when it happened, right? Because I feel like we talked about it and we knew that the team needed a big man. But when you watched SportsCenter, when you watched all the shows, they made it seem like it was this elite all-time big move to complete that team. But I feel like everybody knew, or at least that paid attention to basketball, knew that Jimmy Butler was not improving that team that much.
Number one, even if Jimmy Butler had been in his prime, that wasn't what the team needed. Two, Jimmy Butler was having a bad season and had just gone on a crybaby LeBron James-ish rant about wanting to find his happiness, and basically was holding out on his team. And the Warriors said, "Oh wow, that's the attitude we're looking for." I mean, god damn, that is not. That was a beacon for who you need to add to the roster. Maybe Jimmy Butler 5 years before that, but not that Jimmy Butler. And even the Jimmy Butler 5 years before that would not have been the right fit. But Sports and Fitness Rants, the headline was worse than what you said. They said, with an exclamation point, Warriors roster is complete.
Wow. Right.
Complete. Anyway, before my sound breaks out, if you do play this video clip, I was curious if you guys think that they're being serious or if they're making fun of the signing, because local sports radios had to try so hard to be positive about anything anymore.
Right.
They might have been trying to sell it as a good thing, or they may have flat out been making fun of it.
Well, let's check out the clip and let's see what we see.
95.7 The Game breaking news.
The Warriors roster is a final. For the final roster spot, free agent forward George Niang has agreed to a 1-year, $3.9 million deal with the Golden State Warriors. A career 40% three-point shooter who missed last season due to injury. Oh boy, that's how we roll around these parts.
Stop it! Stop it right now!
And it had been much rumored. It is now.
Stop it right now! Yo,
on, man.
He actually said that's par for the course here.
This is insane stuff. I did not even realize that. Are you kidding me right now? That is just the icing on the cake, man. That's the cherry on the goddamn top, man. He did not even play last season. That's who you bring in?
Never
Holy
heard of
hell.
him before. Anyone heard of him before?
No.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Nope.
You did before this?
I knew who he is. I've seen him on the court. Like I said, he's a role player. That's what he is. I'm not knocking him. The problem, again, is that this is a guy that you're bringing in the, like I said, the 11th hour. Like, dude, this guy is way past his prime, whatever prime he had. I mean, are you kidding me?
But Robin, think about the context you just put that in. We're asking, like, how do you feel about this pick? Well, I mean, I've seen him. I've seen him play basketball. Like, that's.
Let me go back to
crazy.
the 76ers. Let me go back to Anthony Simons, who was a starter for the Blazers and is not even getting a mention because the 76ers are so deep. Yep. How much more significant would Anthony Simons going to the Warriors be than what's his fucking name? I already forgot again.
George Niang.
Yeah, him.
That guy.
He's supposed to be like a 3-and-D type of guy, right? They said he's a career 40% three-point shooter. So the video footage that I've seen from him, the games that I've watched, that I've seen him in, the teams that he's been on, he's a journeyman. He's been on several teams. Like I say, he's a role player. He's a guy supposed to come off the bench, stretch the floor at that size. He's a big guy that is supposed to be able to stretch the floor. So when you think about what he's supposed to do, how is this helping Steph Curry?
Oh, Robert just woke me up.
I mean,
Well,
can you give Steph Curry someone to lob the ball to once? Come on, he couldn't even get off the goddamn ground to finish a goddamn lob.
He ain't lobbing nothing.
I mean, hey, shout out to Kevon Looney for being able to get the rebounds that he did with broken hips. It's amazing that he pulled that off because he looked like he had fucking broken hips out there whenever he was trying to dunk the ball.
He was undersized anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn.
Boy, he ain't going to find a properly sized person on the Warriors.
A properly sized person, a PSP.
We have the Quinn Boat.
Bogut may have been their last actual big man.
We need a properly sized big man. We can't keep shifting out these 6'5", 6'6" guys. Asking.
Well, remember Draymond Green said he's a big man
in the world.
Yeah, fucking Draymond Green.
Fuck him. Yo, oh, they never mind. He's ugly. We can move past it.
Hey, send Draymond to the Sixers, and we'll take Jaylen Brown.
Send him.
Go ahead, let her play. My fault. Let her play.
Official Niang joins the Warriors and grabs their last roster spot.
It sounds awesome. It reminds me of doing the old school like auction fantasy baseball draft where you need 25 roster spots and you get down to the final 3 spots and you have $3 left of auction dollars. And so you have to wait. You have to wait for everyone to take the people who you can't afford, and you wind up in that spot and you get George Niang and Brandon Williams?
Brandon Williams earlier today. Free agent guard Brandon Williams from the Dallas Mavericks also joined the Warriors on a 1-year, $2.6 million deal earlier today.
I'm just looking at George Niang. He's 6'8", and his nicknames are the Minivan and G-Wagon. So that's fun.
Okay, I get where G-Wagon comes from.
That's fun is insane.
Nobody's repping a player named Minivan.
Hey, listen.
I have no idea.
There's your first question.
Journeyman, well-traveled.
Yep. No, these are not like overly exciting names, but they're NBA players. These are not G Leaguers or whatever. And so the Warriors never did make a splash this offseason, but they did bring in some credibility. I think today, Brandon Williams averaged 13 points a game last year. Niang, as you said, was hurt, but at the same time, he's got a long career in the NBA and apparently multiple nicknames.
And I think that for Brandon, it was a G League, and then he got a little cup of coffee, and then back to the G League. It's a little bit of fits and starts, and then last year he actually got to play on a team that wasn't very good, and he played pretty well. So now you get to go out there and become a part of the Golden State Warriors. And the more I look at this year's roster, you've got your core of, 5 or 6 older guys, and then you've got the other core of maybe 4 or 5 younger guys like Will Richard and Pods and Gee and Yaxel. And so then you've got this other group of 4 or 5 of question marks.
I'm sorry, I missed the part where they explained that his nickname was Minivan because of he used the minivan to go to all the different teams that he's played for. But did you?
Is that what that was about?
They had to be excited that these are NBA players.
They are. I mean,
he's got a heartbeat. I think he can stand up. If he can't stand up, put him on a wheelchair. Get him out there. Can you imagine if you're like listing all of these guys' stats? Like if you're watching the game and you see, Luka Doncic averages 32 and 11 assists or whatever, and then this guy comes up and it says George Niang, averages, didn't play last year, nicknames Minivan. Like that's the notoriety. That's the level of player this shouldn't even be news.
This is the news that we have. A guy came to the team that has nicknames. Let's go fucking party.
2 great nicknames.
He's got nicknames. Let's go. I'm having a party tonight, guys.
Think about what Steph Curry's been dealing with, man, over his career. It's actually becoming quite laughable when you think about some of the situations now that are quite evolving, the way they've evolved now, how so many things have actually devolved. When you think about someone like Kevin Durant, I mean, he had to literally basically give Kevin Durant's career a boost. He had to boost Kevin Durant up. One of the great players of his own era. It was like he had to go to Kevin Durant and tell him, like, listen, man, go ahead and step on my shoulders, and I help get you over this wall right here. It reminds me of that scene from Beverly Hills Cop when you had Rosewood and my man Taggart trying to get over the wall, and Eddie Murphy had broken into the house, right? And they had followed him there, and they were like, yo, we're going in with him, man, blah, blah, blah. And they was going in, they were trying to get over the wall, but they couldn't get over the wall, right? Because it was too high. So what they had to do, Rosemont and Taggart, they had to go ahead and figure it out, man. They had to get on the shoulders, man, and they were struggling for a little while, and he was trying to bounce on the tree, and they were doing all this stuff, man. That's essentially what my man Steph Curry had to do for someone like Kevin Durant. He had to give him a little boost on the shoulder. He was like, yo, get on my shoulder, man. I'm going to boost you up over this wall. I'm going to help you, make your career look a little bit greater. I mean, think about what he's had to deal with Draymond Green all these years. I mean, we talked about the Ron Artest thing and the Rodman with Michael Jordan. Well, Steph Curry got his own kind of Rodman type of player. He's been dealing with this freaking guy named Draymond Green all these years, and he's had to lift Draymond Green up and boost Draymond Green up doing all these damn seasons now, man. He's had him do all these things, all the guys coming in and off the roster. Go through the names of the rosters that they've had on that team since 2013, let's say. You will be amazed at the players that were on these rosters, man. They've been trying to bring these guys in, some weird dudes, though, man. They're always bringing these guys on the back end of their careers, or they're bringing guys that don't really fit what they're doing. Once again, they've lost what their vision was when they built the roster up and had all that success. They've lost that stuff. You talked about the quality big man. I saw someone shout out JaVale McGee in the chat. Absolutely, man. JaVale McGee was absolutely a quality big man. He was definitely one of the turning points in that 2017 series. That's what I thought. He wasn't there in 2016. In 2017, JaVale McGee was a problem for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So shout out to, once again, JaVale McGee, but that's the problem. They haven't gone back to that formula. Remember how deep they were? They had that second squad that they would bring in. They had these guys that were coming off the bench. They had depth, man. They had a bunch of different guys, man. They seem to get away from this stuff, man. It's like they forgot how to build around Curry, or they just don't give a goddamn.
It's
Shout
like
out to
they're
Lynetta
intentionally
402.
trying not to.
Well, real quick, shout out to Lynetta 402. She says, and you never heard Curry asking for help. That's the biggest part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Kept silent.
You guys mind if I talk about the 40% 3-point shooting that some people got on the bandwagon and said, oh, that's great. Dozens of players. I'm looking at the stats right now. It goes off the screen. I have to scroll. Shoot at least 40% from three, and that's more of a sign of the lack of defense these days. And also, you can also be misled by statistics. For example, here's a great one: Clint Capella shot 50% from three. Is Clint Capella a 3-point shooter?
Nope.
But these are the types of stats that you can come up with if you're trying to manipulate something. Eric Gordon shot 57% from three. Well, his team should have fucking won the championship then, if that's the real, the way he really shoots the 3-pointer.
Right. I mean, listen. Like we mentioned, when you talk about someone like this guy Niang, and they mentioned the 40%. Like we said, it's nothing to write.
Luke Kennard shot 47.8%.
Who did?
Luke Kennard.
Yeah, well, Luke Kennard is one of the 3-point shoots. You have to think about it.
But he wasn't good enough for LeBron.
Say what?
But he wasn't good enough for LeBron. Remember, they were out talented.
Good enough for LeBron, but he's good enough for Steph Curry. That's who Gordy Niang is. He's good enough for Steph Curry. Luke Kennard's not good enough for LeBron James, but Gordy Niang is good enough for Steph Curry.
8% better. Luke Kennard is 8% better than the dude that we're pretending to be excited about, and yet Kennard wasn't good enough for LeBron.
Remember when they brought Kristaps Porzingis in last season after he missed basically the entire season the year before? It's the same kind of thing. They love to bring these guys in who didn't play the year before. They're like, you know what? He's fresh. He didn't play the year before. Let's bring him in.
That must be,
he's got fresh legs.
Idea. That must be the strategy. It's the only way.
That's the only way that you can make it make sense.
Oh, this is sad. We can move on, but I appreciate the effort you put into that graphic.
It's a really decent transition because we're going to someone that was a Golden State Warrior.
Oh,
Does Klay Thomas going to the Heat change anything for the Heat? He's talking about it. It's his redemption season.
Oh well, we're back to someone talking, so we'll see. What did he do for the Mavericks?
Exactly.
Got hurt.
He has a girlfriend whose name is Mustang or something. I mean, come on, dude.
Jesus Christ. Let's make this. First of all, that's
worse. That's worse.
That's way worse. It's Meg Thee Stallion. They've been broken up.
That's terrible.
And yeah, that's a whole
horrifying.
AOH. As a matter of fact, I kind of want to get drunk one day and explain that whole situation to you. So
God,
I don't want to know.
It's cringe. It's bad. I think you know what? I think he brings like. I hate to be like that.
Is she a hooker?
At least he brings a what's that?
She a hooker?
Uh-oh.
Kind of.
She sounds like if you go to
Mustang Sally.
Nah, she's a rapper.
Sounds like if you go to the big and large strip club.
She's a rapper.
Oh God, you're killing it right now, man. You're killing it.
or watch their B team.
This is great stuff, man.
Meg
Goodness
the fucking
gracious.
Stallion.
I mean, listen.
Stallions were men.
Klay Thompson.
Hey, wish I man, like that's a whole rabbit hole. That's like a whole moment in time you're talking about.
Don't we
right
usually
now.
refer to
Yes. Stallions
fucking
are
Rocky Balboa,
males.
the Italian stallion?
Yes, that's a whole thing.
Okay.
That's a whole conversation. Trust me.
I'm gonna sit a few plays out. I'm just gonna show up.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation. Don't worry.
Yo, shout out to Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion. One of the great nicknames in history of nicknames. Just Rocky Balboa, the Italian. You guys know. Anyway, the Klay Thompson thing is interesting to me. You guys said that it's supposed to be like a redemption season for him, or whatever it may be. That's
what
why I'm
he's saying.
interested. What is it?
That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so to me, that makes it a little bit interesting in that regard. If he's approaching this season that way, because let's be honest too, with someone like Klay Thompson, he had some significant injuries in his career, and he's been playing for a long time now. I mean, a lot of these guys, back in the day, these guys would have been retired, man. They wouldn't be around any longer, man. We didn't get to watch our great players play for damn near 20 seasons back in those days, man. It just wasn't like that. The game was too rough. It was too tough. It was too physical. Like I said, those guys were out there, falling around and getting banged around, and they didn't have the advancements and the advantage that the guys have today. So Klay Thompson's getting old, and I'm interested to see if he could do something for the Heat. I don't know if he actually, will move the needle, but again, if he's approaching it as his, redemption and, something like that, because like you mentioned, really the Dallas Mavericks whole thing didn't really work out. It's, sad what happened with Dallas with, the Kyrie Irving injury and the Luka Doncic trade, so, all those things going on over there, didn't help Klay Thompson and his career, or his tenure over there in Dallas. So it would be nice to see Klay Thompson come out here and do something on the Miami Heat team. Maybe he can be rejuvenated.
I also think, Robin, he has nothing left to prove. Like, that's the wildest part about this whole thing. Like, to me, Klay Thompson's a made man. Like, first ballot Hall of Famer, champion, has obviously lived a very profitable and great life thus far. Him going to Miami, I mean, he's just going to get paid to play basketball and hang out at the beach. He's, like, to me, he's solid. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but he could retire in the next couple of seasons and be fine with me, I think.
Robin just made me think about another way to consider how fraudulent these guys are who are having long careers, because you're thinking in the old days when guys' peaks were up, they were like, okay, I had my run, and they retired. These days they just stick around. Maybe you'll get a redemption season somewhere along the way. But we're supposed to just forget that Klay Thompson has been shit for the previous 4 years. I mean, his last years at the Warriors were dreadful. He got drugged. He got drugged to that 2022 finals. They wanted to spite him.
Yeah,
but anyways, right, so I mean, let's say that he does have a redemption season. Let's just now imagine all the guys that retired in their prime, because that's how you used to retire, who said, you know what, I'm going to stick around for another 5 years, and maybe somewhere along the line I'll have a good season. It's just a very different approach to the game and how you perceive a successful career. But then again, with the money that they're getting paid, it'd be a little hard to walk away.
Speam, you said something about, going down the beach and, playing ball and, whatever. And I see some people in the chat talking about, he's going to go down there and, hang out with the ladies and stuff like that. If it's supposed to be a redemption season for Klay Thompson, you can't be hanging out with the ladies, my man. You can't be going down there carrying on and lollygagging, hanging out in the clubs, doing all this stuff. If it's supposed to be a redemption season, if it really means that to you, if you really want to try to put turn a frown upside down, so to speak, like my man Air Waits has been saying, the last couple of years, and Golden State weren't that great, and the last years that we've seen in Dallas haven't been that great either, especially with the amount of games that he's missed and the lack of success overall that his team has had. So damn it, you can't lollygag out there in Miami. I know the weather's nice, man. I know to get the ladies out there in the beach and all that stuff, man. Yeah, I get that, man. But goddamn it, you ain't there for none of that. You're supposed to be out there redeeming yourself. You gotta go out there and earn it, man. You gotta go out there and show up on the court, man. You gotta go out there and play some games. You gotta go out there and have an impact on a team that's supposed to be one of those maybe, dark horses out there in the Eastern Conference. If you have a healthy Giannis Antetokounmpo, a Bam Adebayo, just the Miami Heat culture and the organization overall, they've been known to be competitive even without that kind of talent. This is probably the best player that Eric Spoelstra's had over there in Miami since LeBron James and Dwayne Wade have gone. Now you have Giannis Antetokounmpo there. He's a step above a Jimmy Butler or a Bam Adebayo.
They got all those stallions that run in the sand along the shore in Miami. He's going to be very distracted.
Yeah,
that's
he is.
a great joke. That's a fantastic joke. Oh man,
I know, and you guys didn't
I'm
even
not even
laugh.
sarcastic. That was a good one.
I know it was.
I mean,
by the way, Robin, when I was walking
Adventure
away,
President-
your Rocky Balboa imitation was dreadful. Like, what was that?
It was bad. It sounded more like Palestinian than Italian.
Yo, I do so much good work on these live shows, and you gonna try to nitpick something that maybe I didn't do that great? Come on, man. I'll be
Oh,
honest.
come on, man. I'm trying to be funny.
Nah, I know I'm messing with you, man.
I don't know what that was, though. What accent were you going for there?
That was the guy when he was coming into the ring, man.
No, it was straight Palestinian.
He said it was Palestinian. Come on, man. Why do you guys make things weird all the time? God damn.
I didn't say
it's only weird if you make it weird.
No,
I
it's
didn't
not,
say
man.
it.
How do we even get there?
You brought up Rocky. You brought up a fictional character that Terrible City has a statue of.
I'm afraid we're gonna have to suspend you, Speam, just to make the audience happy that we punished you for your inappropriate comments.
Oh yeah, I took a strong stance back there. Let me publicly apologize.
Yeah, I'll put him on mute for a while.
Yeah. I used.
Anyway,
one of those
let's
hot
move
buzzwords.
on. This wasn't even a particularly interesting topic. I was just curious to hear what you guys had to say about it. I do want to show that clip that of LeBron and David West that we watched from yesterday, because that shit was just absolutely crazy, and I thought that the chat would appreciate it. Just wanted to point out the man of 1,000+ flops has only been charged twice or fined twice. And then I think that whole fining for flopping has completely disappeared from the zeitgeist. So it'll probably never happen again. But let's check out this clip.
I keep on falling.
Turn that music off.
I love it. Oh, goodness gracious.
So we did a recording last night, Robin, and we were looking at this play, and I was pointing out this doesn't even make it into LeBron's montages of flops. It's like they forgot about this. Another detail that I found out this morning.
Yo, hold on, LH. He flopped so hard that David West had to flop in reaction to the flop. That's crazy.
Yeah, and there was a third technical for flopping in this game, and it went on Lance Stevenson. Now,
But I mean,
compare
just
that
watch how
to
hard he whips himself when he gets touched. How did he not hurt his neck?
David West didn't know what to do. He was like, ah.
If you get hit that hard, you have no business just springing right back up like that. That's if you're gonna sell a flop that bad. I mean, granted, he learned it, decades later. You need to lay there and actually sell it. Don't throw yourself to the ground like you're trying to go to the basement of the building and then prop right back up.
LeBron delivered the blow. He like brought a windmill arm and hit West from behind. Yeah. He's the one who did the hitting, and West sold it, but he must have some of that may have been a shock reaction. He's like, what the fuck just happened? At least
what the hell was
on
that?
his feet. David West stayed on his feet at least. LeBron James delivered the blow and then fell down.
It's interesting. Even people in the chat are saying that they've never seen that flop.
Isn't that weird?
That's the first time that I saw it was last night. I've never seen that one before.
Well, the only other flop that he got fined for was the Isaiah Stewart one. So I wonder if we see less of those because those are the ones that you can definitively say that he was flopping because he was fined for it.
Right. Now that's possible.
There were more technicals for flopping in that game in 2013, I believe, than there have been during the entire new era that they said they were going to crack down on flopping.
Right.
I mean, the crackdown doesn't exist.
No, certainly not anymore.
Even if they do crack on it, it's five G's. That's
right.
That's a tax write-off. That's a tax write-off for the bottom percent of an NBA earner. $5,000.
And I think that is a very interesting point also that you guys mentioned earlier, that a lot of people in the chat are mentioning that they've never seen this, this flop before. That speaks to the, the longevity. They love to use longevity. Well, yeah, LeBron James been flopping for a long ass time too. And he's flopped at such a high volume that you can see minutes long videos, flop compilations on YouTube, and yet still, you never saw this one though, did you? No, you never seen this one. Think about all the flops you've seen of LeBron. I mean, LeBron James is a Shaq and a Fool MVP, guys. Let's not forget that. So if LeBron James has flopped that much, he's had Shaq and a Fool moments so often, you don't even know about all these moments. That's how frequent it is. And they promote this guy as being able to be an MMA fighter. They promote this guy as being able to be a wide receiver in the NFL. They promote him as being this guy who's like the Iron Man of the NBA's history, when it's actually quite the contrary.
All right. So I actually have another clip here. This was actually from my video, but we'll just skip over my video part. Give me just a second to bring it up here. Where the fuck did it go?
Oh, okay. I finally remember, but
what?
Well, this is the video that I asked you, are you going to feature it on the show? Because there's some things worth talking about. So I guess this will naturally work itself out.
All right. I will skip to the part. All right. Well, this is good.
And maybe not much sleep.
No. Rex is being kind with no sleep. Okay. His true gift, Rex, as Rex knows, his true gift, which we don't want to say what Rex can put it in kind. He can explain it. I'm just going to say it and let Rex explain it.
His true gift
if
was,
the man would, if he would have slept, we don't know how good he really would have been. We didn't see the best of Michael Jordan because he didn't sleep for 14 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Literally. Okay. I'm not like, this isn't like a little sleep. He literally didn't sleep. So my moment was watching him play 35, 40 minutes and then come to practice with the same energy.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute. Now this isn't normal. You know what stinks? We didn't show him practicing. He's the greatest. Okay, he might be the greatest player ever. I don't know who's the greatest, but he's certainly somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
He was the greatest practice player I've ever seen. I've never seen a guy practice this hard. And that's what we should be showing the kids, because we're just showing them the games when the lights are on. This guy I've never seen someone this competitive, and it's always on.
Yeah.
It's always on. And he always brings it. So my moment was in practice, and you realize
he's different.
Yeah, something is because you're like, I don't want to tell too much. You were like, I was at the same place he was at, and I'm a little tired today. Everybody else is a little tired. And then all of a sudden, when Phil Jackson would blow the whistle, this guy, he got 10 hours of sleep. And you and he didn't eat.
Yeah.
So you got a guy who didn't sleep. He didn't eat. He's playing cards or whatever he's doing at night. You know what I mean? Let's keep it PG. Hey, Rex, do whatever happens.
Yep.
And the guy is playing as if and you're like, wait a minute, you just played 45 minutes the other night. And you're like, how?
You know what's so cool about that story? We're inundated with LeBron practice ritual notes and bullet points and breakdowns all day, every day. And we have to sit and hear about hypotheticals about how great he would be if this happened and this happened. I never thought about how great Michael Jordan would be if he didn't, go to the casinos, if he slept, if he just gave a little bit more than the best possible effort, which he already did. I love hearing those stories because it's like, well, what if he didn't retire twice? How many rings would he have? Like, let's play that what if basketball if we're going to do it for LeBron James all the time. So what if Michael got 8 hours of sleep every night? That's great. That's these are the conversations we should be having to combat the entire thing that we're dealing with now currently about the what is good is with LeBron.
Shows you how much times have changed too. You just didn't film everything. But imagine if the social media was back then. Imagine how valuable Michael Jordan practice footage would be and how watched it would be. And Cyberius, this ties into the hyping video that you did about hyping the scripted 76ers scrimmage.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you actually don't have to be in very good shape to, run a couple of plays, to go and, sprint a few feet and dunk the ball. Like, you can do that and recover. I was just wondering if today's NBA players get put through the type of conditioning drills that I got put through from our coach, because I felt like our coach was trying to fucking kill us. And I really don't think that these guys even go through what youth did, at least not old school youth. I mean, I don't know. I guess Sports and Fitness Rants, we know for a fact that you played sports. I'm sure you got put through the ringer. I mean, did your coach ever have you throwing up from conditioning?
I never threw up, but I've saw kids throw up from the conditioning. Yeah, I've made people throw up during my training of them.
Yep. My old coach, the practice didn't stop until somebody threw up. That was the goal. And you didn't want to be the one to throw up, because then everybody would ridicule the hell out of you for being weak.
And they didn't care about your water intake or the heat index or anything like that in high school when I played football. It was like, all right, it's hot. Okay, cool. That's cool. Keep going. More up downs, more four corners.
No, you're right.
Do they all bring their own?
Right. It was like one of those things. That's part of the things that we've talked about when we say, like, you had to be tougher by default. You didn't have a choice. There were no water breaks. What are you gonna do, man? All right, you just keep jogging. You're just all right.
Bro, the kids died, bro.
Die out here. Then I don't know, man. What you want from me? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't one of those things. Now you got parents like, oh my God, my kid forgot his water bottle now. And I'm not saying this was right or wrong how we were raised necessarily, but the level. Like I said, the level that they treated you with, like the level of care that was treated, like I said, think about seatbelts. We talked about seatbelts before. People wasn't riding seatbelts, man. So yeah, the coaches, man, used to do all kinds of things. I think about boot camp when I was in the military, man. They changed some of the standards, even in the military. They had to change some of the standards so that people could not, not feel a certain way about being pushed too far to being pushed too far past the limit. And that's supposed to be the whole point of the military. I thought they're supposed to out there break you and push you to a certain limit and then build you back up. So there's no room for people to be out there crying and whining, but this is where we're at now.
You mentioned water bottles, and I was going to joke about how today's kids probably have special filtered water in their own bottles. We wouldn't even have been allowed to bring a water bottle. You drank when the coach said, and only when the coach said, and you all drank together. We looked like livestock at a trough when we finally got a water break. You could have put us next to a muddy puddle and we would have been sucking out of it because we were so hot and thirsty by the time we got a break. But we literally had a garden hose that went into a PVC pipe that had holes drilled into it, and we
just sprayed the whole time.
Right. And think about it. And think about how a lot of us were. you didn't really have a lot of these issues. And make no mistake about it, you know, people have died, you know, kids have died out there on the field from being pushed too hard and stuff like that. So we understand, you know, some of the real life scenarios out here when it comes to playing sports and some of these weather conditions. But it also goes back to what I said. You were tougher by default back in them days. These things didn't really happen like that. Again, because as you were a kid back then, it was different than as our kids are now, have been lately growing up. Like I said, when you're going outside and you're playing, running around, what are you doing? You're using your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, your bones, your heart, your lungs. You're climbing things, right? You're challenging your friends. You're competing and stuff. You're doing physical activity. So when you start playing a sport growing up, your body's going to be to a certain condition level. It's going to be able to take and tolerate much more.
When I was in Little League, I started 12 years old. I think it was my third game. The pitcher got hit with a line drive in the chest, and it stopped his heart.
Yeah. Yep.
He literally fell down on the ground. They had to call the ambulance. They, you know, on a 12-year-old kid, they're using the, I don't know, whatever the jumper cable things are. I can't remember. Defibrillator. They had to use the defibrillator on him. They put him in the ambulance. They take him away. The substitute pitcher comes in. We continue playing the fucking game.
It was a wild time back then. And, you know, AOH, you mentioned, or is either you or Robin, you mentioned, you know, kids dying. I'll never forget when creatine became a big thing. I was in high school, and our inside linebacker took a hard shot to the kidney, and he was pissing blood in the locker room. And it was a direct result from taking too much creatine. And this is back when it was like, we were figuring this, like we were basically being, you want to talk about a feeding trough, AOH, we were basically guinea pigs. Like they were figuring out all of these supplements and how they work on high school kids. It was like X-Men. It was like the Mutant Academy almost. So now everything is catered and adjusted to make it as easy as possible for athletes, but also make them marketable. So if anything, it still is like the feeding trough, but it's like 3D printing athletes.
Real quick, so long to Prozac. He won't be able to join us anymore, but we appreciate that you were here.
Yeah, shout out to Prozac.
Shout out to Prozac.
Yeah, shout out to everybody out there. Like I said, man, I see everyone coming through again. It means a lot. Hamzas, I see you out there. Hey, Weller. Again, I see all the same names. Like I said, it's crazy how you guys continue to come through and support us. G24Ds, Terrence Potts. Again, thank you guys for coming through. Smilk Off. My man May coming through. Boom Shakalaka. Who else we got up in there? Mr. Big Daddy Joe. Thank you very much, guys. Newman, shout out to you.
Let's just do a real quick musical interlude here with Uncommon's music again. I just want to shout him out for coming up with this for us, and then we'll get back to it.
Welcome to the land of reality, where the truth will be heard, and we don't give a damn about your feelings. So stomp your feet, cry if you want to, scream and shout, cause we don't give a damn, fanboys. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. The truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Oh boy.
Shout out to my man Uncommon Sense, aka Nate Dogg Jr., Nate Dogg the Third. Again, man, for my man coming through and blessing us with the beats.
What I love about his intro so much is that I give him zero input, literally nothing. All I tell him is, this is for our lives. These are the people that are joining. Bam, that's what he comes out with. Like, it's same thing with my channel. I told him, here's my channel name. Create an intro for me. I got no input whatsoever, and he just delivers every single time.
Yeah, man, for real. Shout out to him again.
Same thing.
You know, what I wanted to touch on with the BJ Armstrong thing, it's, you know, I really like the way that BJ Armstrong articulates, you know, his experience Because remember, he's giving his perspective playing alongside Michael Jordan. I love the things that he said over the years when he speaks. Even when he said, even if you don't think Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time, he's definitely, in that conversation. He's one of those kinds of guys. So still giving props to other great players in the history of the game and not making it just about Michael Jordan. And when you talk about the practice, he talked about, I wish we had videotape of the practices. And, you guys were talking about the social media aspect of Michael Jordan and the lack of social media during the time that he played on the level it is now. And a lot of times people bring up the social media with Michael Jordan. They say that's going to take away from Michael Jordan, right? Oh, well, Michael Jordan have to play under that kind of scrutiny. And, they make it seem somehow that Michael Jordan, wouldn't be able to handle the quote unquote pressure of social media. And to me, it's laughable because I feel like if Michael Jordan did have a social media type of thing back in those days when he was playing and he's talking about the practices, Michael Jordan's going to be promoted, man. He's a popular guy. He's not LeBron James. People they actually are trying to compare Michael Jordan and make it seem as if he's going to be quote unquote hated on social media like LeBron. He's not LeBron James. They wouldn't be hating on Michael Jordan during the social media era the way that they think that they're hating on LeBron James. They wouldn't have these things to talk about Michael Jordan. He would be celebrated even further. It would just do even more to his already great, a personality and celebrity that already was without all those advantages. So a lot of this stuff to me, when you think about B.J. Armstrong, he talks about the practices, and he talked about how those practices were sometimes harder than the games. Those are the legendary stories that we talk about with Michael Jordan.
Also, we talk in the social media context of Michael Jordan as if he's dead. Like he's alive right now, and we are in the age of social media, and he is constantly being attacked by the LeBron James fan base. We do know how he would have responded to social media because we're watching it right now. He's like, say what you want, bitches. I know who I am and what I accomplished. We have living proof.
Yep.
Right, exactly.
We already know.
Great point.
However, I do think, to Robin's point, if the social media era was at its peak during, Jordan's playing days, he would be even more celebrated. He doesn't have all of the failures. He doesn't have all of the letdowns. He doesn't have the flopping compilations and, most turnovers all time and all of that garbage.
Can you imagine?
Even greater than he is.
Because we literally would debate whether or not he could fly for a second or two because we'd never seen anything like it. Can you imagine, instead of just talking about what you saw on the TV the last night, you got to show up at school and you were all showing replays of it in high def? I mean, no, social media would have been very, very kind to Michael Jordan. Not to mention,
Michael Jordan's a people's champ. I recently did a video, and I've done several videos in terms of Michael Jordan being greater than we remember. And we remember a lot of these scenarios that Michael Jordan had, the shot in 89. A lot of people forget they came on the heels of Craig Elo with a potential game winner seconds before, with only seconds left on the clock. When Michael Jordan, had that three-play sequence in 98, they came on the heels of John Stockton nailing a three-pointer with under 50 seconds to go in that game. So he had to respond, showing and proving he was greater in some of these moments. I talked about the Vlade Divac shot, right, in the game of the 1991 Game 3, and Michael Jordan hitting the shot, right, with the outstretched hands. That came on the heels of Vlade Divac's three-point play with Pippen fouling out. So these came on the heels of potential game, changing events where you wouldn't have remembered Michael Jordan if he didn't come back from some of these scenarios. So when you talk about, what B.J. Armstrong is alluding to and, the greatness, of someone like Michael Jordan in some of these moments, and, we're talking about, like I said, again, with the popularity of it, think about Michael Jordan's switch hands layup. In that moment, that play was special, but a lot of people forget that shot came on the 13th consecutive field goal made by Michael Jordan. That wasn't just a random layup in a game that the Bulls were, beating a team. That was the 13th shot of that entire record of the finals. That was basically an exclamation point on the moment. That means, and told you, he's greater than we remember.
Wow. I wasn't even aware of that. You know why? Because he don't have to be. He was already great before people had to add or point out such things.
For
we
sure.
We weren't lacking for ways to show that he was great. We had more than enough.
Right, exactly.
Yep. Real quick, let me get to some of these supers here. Don't want to get behind on them. Shout out to Raider Nation, always coming through with 2 jewels.
Yo, shout out to the jewel droppers again, Raider Nation.
Mr. 5580, the same guy that once struggled with a UPS driver.
Yeah, that's right. For real. Shout out to Mr.
Amanda Rua is coming through again. Lubauco would have traded Balboa after DePaulo loss.
Yep.
That's funny.
He would have. That's the fact right there. They would have got rid of him. He would have got rid of his manager.
Xavier to the God coming through. Thank you. In the 2010s Eastern Conference, the easiest NBA conference ever in NBA history. And do you know DeRozan is close to being a top 10 scorer of all time? I was not aware of that.
No.
I thought I remember hearing something about him either passing Shaq or about to pass Shaq maybe on the all-time scoring list.
AOH, weren't you just asking me about DeRozan and what he's done like a week ago or something along those lines? I had no idea he had scored like that.
No.
Nope.
Admitted.
Again, another guy who's played a long time. DeMar DeRozan's played a lot of seasons, man. He's been around for a long time. So again, these guys having these extended careers, DeMar DeRozan hasn't missed a billion games either. So he's been around playing a lot of these games, and he's, more often than not, a lot of those years, he's been the primary scorer for his teams.
Yeah. Xavier to God coming through again. Thank you. Only LeBron fangirls have him number 1. No one else does. Absolutely not. Pink Lady Scorpio coming through again. Thank you for the 2 jewels.
Pink Lady Scorpio, thank you very much.
DeMar's the modern day Alex English.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about how he's never really thought about from that era, he's a forgotten player. DeMar DeRozan is the guy they used to clown Michael Jordan. Yeah, Jordan's the DeMar DeRozan of this era.
Al Sabag coming through. Thank you, sir. Mario Chalmers yelled at LeBron for lollygagging on defense a few months after LeBron and his fans claimed he was robbed of Defensive Player of the Year.
Yo, with the facts.
So true.
Listen, it's crazy when you talk about the lollygagging. We are at a point now because LeBron James is continuing to play. We talked about a lot of these guys continue to play, extend their careers, on paper, but it's not actually helping their legacy overall. We're at a point now where LeBron James has been bad on defense longer than he was actually ever good on defense. There's no way you can argue that with me. I'm not going to listen to any of this nonsense. This man's been bad on defense for a legit decade. I'm talking about 10 straight seasons. This man's been horrendous on defense. And half of those years, he doesn't even bother to make it across half court at the time, which actually goes to some of the points that he's been scoring over the last several seasons. These cherry pick baskets, not getting back on D. So again, shout out to Yalzabag for again talking about LeBron James. And I've been calling LeBron James a lollygagger for a minute. And whenever I think about the word lollygagging or the term or to lollygag, I always think about the movie Bull Durham. When he yelled at all the guys for going out there and lollygagging, he goes, "You guys lollygag to first base. You lollygag to outfield. You lollygag to the dugout." He goes, "You know what that makes you? Lollygaggers." Well, LeBron James doesn't make it across half court. He lollygags to half court, right? He lollygags around on defense. He lollygags off the bench. He lollygags off the court early. So what does that make him? That makes him a lollygagger.
Real quick about DeRozan, because I was talking about whether or not, I think this is the context, but I was talking about whether or not DeRozan going to the Nuggets is meaningful. This is his 18th season.
Yeah, wow.
18th.
Wow. That sounds like great longevity, AOH.
It's great longevity. I don't know if that's who I want to be signing.
Yeah, but how come they don't talk about it? How come they don't talk about his longevity? Like we have to hear about LeBron James every fucking day. Yeah. 18 seasons is impressive. That's a lifetime for some people.
Yeah, that sounds and looks like I talked about that before in one of my videos. I mentioned DeMar DeRozan going to the Nuggets, and I said that move is a day late and a dollar short. attending. When you think about it, I mean, your 18th season. Now, again, I'm not saying that DeMar DeRozan got nothing left to give to the Nuggets, but that's another move that's to wait and see, what his role's supposed to be, how much is he supposed to be carrying offensively for the Nuggets, because that's really what he does. He's a guy who scores. He shoots the ball, man. He's a scorer. So if he's going to go out there and do something, like we talk about Klay Thompson, who's going into, I think Klay Thompson might be going into his 17, 18 season 2, probably somewhere around there. So again, I don't know what these guys are going to give, but it would be nice to see someone like DeMar DeRozan play on a contending team, man. I mean,
be interesting to see for sure. Red Factor 216 coming through. Thank you, sir. Love your guys' work. Keep it up. I recently had kidney stones removed, and your channels are a beam of light while I recover. Kidney stones are rough, so
God damn.
Get well soon. Get well soon, Red Factor.
Yeah, get well soon. That's that hurts.
Thanks for
See,
being here.
this is why we come with the energy. This is why I come for y'all out there, man. Because you got people like my man Red Fact out here who got goddamn kidney stones you got to get removed.
Shout out to
and
kidney
he's talking
stones.
about we beams of light when he's out there trying to recover. Shout out to my man Red Factor. Shout out to all you guys out there that maybe need to spend some time on a Wednesday afternoon or morning or whatever the hell it is where you at, man. And you need someone to pep you up. You need someone to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Again, we really appreciate you guys. And he said we've developed and built this connection here. So again, shout out to Red Factor, man. I said I hope you feel better, man, because that's not something easy to go through, man.
Nope. Absolutely.
Here's to everyone passing stones while listening to the show.
For real.
Xavier to God coming through yet again. Thank you. AI, Barkley, Nash, Malone, D-Rose, Westbrook, and Joel are the only MVPs to not have rings. You think they rather have a championship or the MVP? That's a good question, given all the talk about MVPs being more impressive or more significant than championships.
Oh, I don't think there's a question. I mean, you look at the TNT show where Shaq shits on Barkley for not having a ring, and Barkley has the MVP. I don't know. Has Barkley addressed that directly? I feel like he's literally said he'd rather have the championship.
I think any real player would rather have a championship than an MVP.
I think there's a fair number of people who probably have to be told that Barkley won MVP.
Yeah.
Versus the number of people who go around using the fact that he doesn't have a championship against him.
Yeah. It's a constant here every day.
When you think about some of these players, like, we talk about Tracy McGrady, who recently made some of these comments to pretty much piggyback off of Kevin Durant, the MVP stuff. If you think about him making those kinds of comments, and then you think about someone like you mentioned, a Charles Barkley there, a Karl Malone, in his conversation, some of these players, when you think about a player like a Charles Barkley, the only thing that was really missing from his career was a championship. Yeah. That was really the only thing that was missing. Charles Barkley was on the cusp, leading the team to the championship, one of the great players of his era. Tracy McGrady wasn't the Charles Barkley of his era. He wasn't on that level, man. You talk about the great players of the 2000s. He wasn't Kevin Garnett. He wasn't Shaquille O'Neal. He wasn't Kobe Bryant. He wasn't Tim Duncan. He wasn't Jason Kidd. To me, he wasn't on the level of those guys. Those are the top guys in the era. Tracy McGrady was one of the top guys, but he wasn't the top guys. So when you think about Charles Barkley, like I said, he was on another level, man. And him not having a championship, the only reason people mention that is because that's the only thing missing from his career.
Yeah.
Because he was so great, and he's compared to guys that are on that level that have championships. So again, even a Karl Malone, the only thing he's missing is a championship. So again, when we see, this goes back to that whole damn lineage we talk about. This goes to the greatness of Michael Jordan in the era, baby. When you think about how great a Charles Barkley was individually, how great a Karl Malone was individually, and yet they could not get a championship during the era.
It goes to show. I mean, the way I've always described Tracy McGrady is his talent got him to the first round, and his work ethic kept him there.
Ooh. I like that.
I like that.
That's a good one, AOH.
That's a good one,
Cyberius. Was that Cyberius? My bad. Is that Cyberius?
God damn, he's not even white, and you're getting us mixed up.
The same to me.
That was actually really good.
Did we both sound Palestinian to you? God
we flew past that.
You got a heavy accent going on. You sound too American.
All right, Pink Lady Scorpio coming through again with 2 jewels. Thank you so much.
MVX.
Call Harv, thank you for always showing up. At unknown24225, the world will still turn after LeBron is retired. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, that name just screams fanboy. I don't know who the fuck Unknown is, but that I mean,
No,
that's
they've been getting them, and they've been getting them in the comments. Our fans are they're getting them out of there.
Yeah, your shout to Call Harv.
Breezy Rule on 33 coming through again. Thank you. The A team of YouTube. Great work, man. Thank you so much.
Shout out to Wulong. Great game. Shout out to Wulong.
Yeah, thank you, Breezy. Always coming through, Breezy. Thank you, guys.
Story Games 8520. Do you think players like Draymond, Iguodala, D Rose, and others of that ilk deserve a jersey retirement or a Hall of Fame induction?
No.
D Rose absolutely does.
D Rose,
maybe not a retirement. Maybe not a retirement, but definitely D Rose, absolutely. I wouldn't even put him in this conversation with Draymond or
absolutely what, Speam?
D Rose? Is he not a Hall of Famer?
You said absolutely for Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Look, you're basing it on your love of what you thought he was going to do and ignoring the tragedy that stopped him from doing it. I mean, we've got to put a hard limit. For a second there, I said, "Oh yeah, D Rose," but then
it's the basketball Hall of Fame though, and they let way worse players in.
Well, look, Draymond and Iguodala, I don't think are as good as D Rose. Go ahead. Sports and Fitness Rants, I cut you off. I'd rather hear your answer than mine.
Well, I mean, listen. These are the kinds of things that we're talking about when it comes to the players that. Shout out to Story Games for asking us this question. This is great. You bring up some of these players here. Draymond Green, for an example. We talked about him being discussed as a potential Hall of Famer. And the problem that brings is you're opening the door for a lot of other players, to me, that were greater than Draymond Green individually, that had better basketball careers than Draymond Green. So now when you talk about someone like Derrick Rose, I think Derrick Rose peak, we saw the MVP level of Derrick Rose. I think his peak was obviously outstanding. He's the youngest MVP in NBA's history. No one can take that away from Derrick Rose. He actually did get his jersey retired by the Chicago Bulls. So he has been recognized, Derrick Rose, on a level. I do not believe that he's a Hall of Famer. However, if you start opening these doors, you guys showed a clip on the Sunday Live of Tom Chambers, right? And you showed the dunk of Tom Chambers. Tom Chambers, to me, is a perfect example of a player that, to me, was better individually than Draymond Green was, but doesn't have the championships and did not necessarily, have the team success over Draymond Green. So, yeah, Draymond Green, we all know, is a defensive player. That's what his role was, right? He was a guy that was, doing certain things for the Golden State Warriors. But, we talked about how Steph Curry has made someone like Draymond Green look like a Hall of Famer, right? He looks like a Hall of Famer because he played with Steph Curry. So, to me, the Derrick Rose thing, I wouldn't put him in. Iguodala, I do not believe is a Hall of Famer, or Draymond Green. However, I believe that Draymond Green's going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I think that's probably sad but true.
Robin, who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame the most of these guys? Of these players here, who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame the most? If you had to pick one. Because I got to go D Rose. Just of these three here.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. Like I said, I don't have a problem with Derrick Rose maybe getting in the Hall. Listen, we told about someone like Tracy McGrady getting on the Hall of Fame, with the injuries that he had in his career. But where's guys like Penny Hardaway fall in this now? Because when you talk about some of the players that have gotten in the Hall of Fame, I believe Grant Hill's in the Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. So if you think about some of these guys that have gotten in the Hall of Fame, again, we know it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, not necessarily the NBA Hall of Fame. But again, where are we drawing the line here with this stuff? To me, Draymond Green, was he better than Larry Nance? Larry Nance not the Hall of Fame. I mentioned Mark Aguirre. Is he better than Mark Aguirre? I think he's better than Mark Aguirre, but Mark Aguire's not in the Hall of Fame. I mentioned Kevin Johnson earlier. Draymond Green was not better than Kevin Johnson, man. Kevin Johnson not in the Hall of Fame, though. So once you open the door to Draymond Green, now you have to let Derrick Rose in, I guess. Now it's Andre Iguodala all of a sudden a Hall of Fame, and now you start to go down this weird line. Is Horace Grant now a Hall of Famer now all of a sudden? Sean Kemp's not in the Hall of Fame.
Draymond Green's a role player, man. Like, he would never have done anything anywhere else. In Draymond's case, it's a tragedy that he hasn't been injured. And Derrick Rose, it's a tragedy that he was injured. That's very, very different.
Jesus.
But now that was mean. We can move on from that.
That's
Here's
worse
my
than
real
my
question.
Palestinian thing.
What? Jesus Christ.
I'm not wishing ill on anybody.
Oh, well, I am. Fuck Draymond. I hope he drowns today in the bay.
All right,
I hope he drowns today in the fucking bay.
Stand on it.
Drowns in the bay.
No, he doesn't deserve the bay. This water's too good for him. Who was better in their prime, Grant Hill or Derrick Rose?
Grant Hill. That's not fair.
Why is it not fair?
Because Grant Hill was better than most players in his prime.
Well, hey, I'm just asking people to answer. I'm not saying that I know what the answer is.
Well, who was better, Grant Hill or Penny Hardaway in their prime?
Don't fucking answer a question with a question.
I already told you. I already told you it was Grant Hill. That's not even a conversation.
Here's the thing: like Sports and Fitness Rants said.
I think that's an interesting question, and which it really is, man. That's a really good one. Because
you said, hold on, and then I'm going to let you go. Because you said Derrick Rose at his peak, but we don't actually know if that was his peak. It could have gotten better.
Well, listen, you can't get higher than the MVP. So to me, as far as like his accolade, I think that was he can't go further than that. Like you said, if he was going out there and lead a team to a championship. No, right. But what I'm saying is, like, as far as like the accolades that he can win individually as far as a season goes and what we saw him do, like I said, to me, that was where he was going. He was reaching his peak. Again, you said maybe he wins 2 championships in a row with the Bulls. This is something we talked about with the LeBron James angle. You're out there blocking guys like Derrick Rose, because what I was going to say was my initial thought is to say Grant Hill off the jump. I think Grant Hill was the overall better player than Derrick Rose, but I never saw Grant Hill lead a team to a conference finals like Derrick Rose did, and a potential chance to go to an NBA finals if he wasn't being blocked out there by a dirtbag and a non-competitor like LeBron James.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it could be a good debate, actually.
No, but you're right, though, LH. You know, we could have seen Derrick Rose win a finals MVP, you know, lead his team to a championship, maybe a couple of championships in his career, and maybe you view and look at him a little bit differently. I think Penny Hardaway, to me, in this conversation, is very interesting because Penny Hardaway had the size, he had the skills also to go with the athletic ability on the court. Penny Hardaway, I mean, he was a really formidable player to go against, and I liked everything about Penny Hardaway, so it really would have been interesting to see what he could have done with a perfect bill of health.
Absolutely. This is actually another good question. Xavier the God coming through again. The Mount Rushmore of the 2000s NBA players are 1 Kobe, 2 Duncan, 3 Shaq. Who's number 4? Is it KG, D Wade, Nash, AI, Dirk, Jason Kidd, or LeBron?
Man, good questions, Xavier the God, man. Yeah, I mean, listen. See, this is what the interesting thing about the 2000s. To me, it would probably have to come down to, maybe like Jason Kidd or Kevin Garnett, I think, man.
I have to go with KG.
Yeah.
AOH, I think you're muted.
Oh, Xavier, did you just throw LeBron in at the end of that list to get a reaction? Did you do that to get a reaction? You're better than this. You're better than this. Look at the list of names there, and it's a reminder: the NBA wasn't dead or dying. Man, we had some great shit going on.
Yeah.
Look at the list of names. Yeah. KG as a runner-up. D Wade as a runner-up. Wow.
Yeah. AI, Dirk Nowitzki.
It's got to be Iverson. Iverson was the NBA for a large part of the 2000s. Every kid wanted to play like him. AOH. He was not the face of the
NBA. I mean, think about what you said. He was the NBA.
He was the street.
He influenced a lot. AOH. They changed the dress code because of him. They changed basketball. They changed how you dribble. They changed the carry rule. They changed scoring, small guard play. I'm not saying it was deserved or undeserved, but he was right at the forefront of the league for a long time. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he was the culture. He was what the kids were watching.
Well, you had the counterculture then in Duncan, the big fundamental, and they were happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It was like,
Well,
go
yeah,
back
but
to
the
the old
question
ways.
is, are you putting him on the Mount Rushmore? AI may have been the culture, but are you putting him on the Mount Rushmore of the 2000s?
There we go. There we go.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
You know, that's only 4 faces. Like whenever Stephen A. Smith says it, he acts like there's 6 fucking faces on Mount Rushmore. There's not.
4.
He'll be like, well, you can't take Bird and Magic off, but LeBron belongs up there. It's like, where? There's 4 fucking faces.
Yo, you know what? That's a great point, man. When you talk about Mount Rushmore, and I didn't think about it like that. I mean, listen, to leave Allen Iverson off of a quote-unquote, this is not supposed to be a 1 through 4. They're supposed to be a Mount Rushmore. So when you think about what Allen Iverson, like Speam was hitting on, what he meant to the era, Allen Iverson's one of the people's champs, man. Like I said, what he meant to culture, the sneaker game, you know, all this stuff, the swag of Allen Iverson. You know, like I said, I think that he might have to go on the Mount Rushmore just off of that alone.
I don't know. It's almost more like you guys are describing an interesting fad rather than a permanent sculpture.
Yeah, but you're talking about a Mount Rushmore. You're talking about like impacting that era, just that specific era. Allen Iverson absolutely had one of the biggest impact on that era. That doesn't necessarily mean he was one of the best players, like as far as the top 2 or 3 guys, but he absolutely had more of an impact on the culture as far as like the popularity than some of these other guys. I mean, hell, you could even take Tim Duncan out of there and put Allen Iverson, like I said, in place of someone like Tim Duncan as far as Mount Rushmore, as far as what he meant to the actual era. Like I said, no one's talking about Tim Duncan sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one talks about Tim Duncan's commercials. No one talks about, Tim Duncan's swag. He's actually the opposite of swag, Tim Duncan, right? So, some of these kinds of things, that's how I'm looking at a Mount Rushmore. It's not necessarily,
I know you guys kind of snuck the culture thing in there as the defining point here. Like that changed the whole dynamic of this conversation. Like,
does that not factor into it for you, AOH?
Well, it might
is
factor
that not
into
a
it,
fair
but
factor?
like you literally turned the conversation into cultural impact.
No, but that's one of the things when you talk about Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
That was one of, see, when you're talking about the great players of the era, the cultural impact is not involved in this. What you meant off the court and all the other aspects, that's not involved. We're talking about the best players of the era. It's a different conversation. But to me, when people talk about the Mount Rushmores of an era, that's not to me 1 through 4, the best players of the era. This is the best guy, the second best, the third or fourth. To me, it has more to do with the other things. That's why I've mentioned guys like Dr. J to me being on a Mount Rushmore of NBA's history, because to me, he's in a conversation for that. Doesn't mean he's one of the top 4 players in NBA's history necessarily, but I said that the impact he had, what he meant during the time, the merger of the NBA, like I said, that was huge for the NBA and where it went. So to me, he has a claim to be in that conversation of a Mount Rushmore type player, not necessarily him being, the 4th best player of all time. So that's the only reason why I mentioned the culture aspect. That's why I said originally my thought was Kevin Garnett or Jason Kidd, because if I was looking at it as the 4th best player next in line, but if it was Mount Rushmore, like, to me, other things are included with that. That's all I was saying.
It sounds like we have multiple Mount Rushmores. Dr. J is in the historical Mount Rushmore. AI is in the cultural Mount Rushmore, and then you have the best ever Mount Rushmore.
They're talking about the 2000s era. AOH is the 2000s Mount Rushmore. Dr. J's not in the 2000s Mount Rushmore.
But you mentioned Dr. J.
I said in NBA's history, in the history of the NBA, Allen Iverson wasn't there for a merger. He didn't save the NBA by coming over from another league. All right, so again, we're talking about 2 completely different impacts. So when one guy's for the 2000s, he represents a smaller scale of the impact, and the other guy, Dr. J, represents a much larger scale of impact on the history of the game. Dr. J's impact is greater than Allen Iverson's on the game. On the game.
We talked about end ones on the previous show, and that was kind of a cultural phenomenon for a while. And if there was anyone out of that list that I would associate that with, even though he wasn't, it would have been AI.
KG was actually signed to and one AOH.
Oh,
he was their
okay,
premier athlete.
Okay, that's a better argument.
I guess that says a lot for their marketing. But I had his sneakers. KG and Stephon Marbury were and one's like commercial athletes before they started doing all the mixtape stuff.
Right. Exactly.
And those sneakers were dope. And again, affordable. That's not a thing anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
I
mean, I think it's a great question by Xavier
the
Degod.
LeBron thing.
What?
No, you said LeBron James shouldn't be on there. Again, man, sometimes we have to differentiate between the 2010s players and the 2000s guys.
I mean, look at that list. That's a lot of people in the 2000s. So personally on that list, if I remove someone, it's LeBron James. If for no other reason, then I think he hurt the game. I think that too many bad things happened in the effort to lift LeBron James because he couldn't lift himself.
I hope Dirk gets the respect he deserves, decades from now. He does have.
You're not giving it to him today.
Not in this instance.
He's not on your Mount Rushmore.
No, because he's not. But he has one of the
his championship.
I feel like we repeat this every week. His championship was more impressive than anything LeBron's ever done. And almost on that, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, it was unfair. It was unfair. Dirk had Jason Terry.
What?
And JJ Brea.
Jason Terry had so much confidence going into that series that he got the trophy tattooed on him. That's how confident he was against the quote greatest of all time.
JJ Barea. I was watching some JJ Barea clips last night. YouTube fed it to me. I was like, damn, that guy is frustrating. He looked like he was on rails on that floor. It's like he was going wherever the fuck he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are hitting on the head. I mean, and also, man, I think they were like the second oldest team in NBA's history to ever win a championship. Yep. So when you think about all those things, I remember Jason Kidd was like 38 years old in those finals, and Jason Kidd actually led the playoffs in assists during that finals run and was very impactful on both sides of the ball. He guarded LeBron James in several opportunities, several instances during that finals, was a major contributor for the Mavericks. So when you think about how the LeBron James fans continue to promote LeBron James in the age of Michael Jordan's opponents, oh yeah, Magic was old and these guys were old and LeBron was young here. Well, the Mavericks were the second oldest team in NBA's history. They whooped y'all ass, and during so you were laughing and making fun of their best player.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's everything on the list.
I think that's a good show.
I don't got any more topics.
Shout out to Hyde F. Zeke. Can't forget about Vince Carter. Vince Carter was in the back of my brain this whole time, but he's not quite there as Mount Rushmore of the 2000s, even though he is the greatest in-game dunker of all time.
I mean, that's absolutely an accolade he deserves. But yeah, he doesn't belong on a Mount Rushmore. That would be crazy.
I tuned in for him.
Players. You could mention Paul Pierce in that list. You could have put him on there maybe in that conversation. There were players, like I said, where do you differentiate? Because when someone that was interesting there was Dwayne Wade. To me was interesting because Dwayne Wade's an interesting player when you think about where were his best years, and where was his peak really because of the injuries of his career, and he had some kind of like on and off seasons. When you think about that run in 2006, that's the 2000s, man. That's right in the middle of the 2000s. And you think about what he was doing that season and some of the years he had leading the league in scoring in that era. So when you think about the 2010s, you would think that he's more of a 2010s player. You view him that way. But you can argue his best seasons were in the 2000s. It's like, to me, Shaquille O'Neal, he's a tough player to rank. When you think about the 90s and the 2000s, I know we mostly think about Shaq as a 2000s player. Whenever I do rankings or I think about a ranking, I consider him a 2000s guy. But his first season was 92, 93. I mean, he played a lot of years in the 90s, man. So when you think about it that way, is he a 90s guy and a 2000s guy? Another guy that was always hard for me, too, was Dominique Wilkins. He came in 82. So he's on that, like, he's an 80s guy, but sometimes I think about him in the 90s also. So some of these guys, where they came in, the year and where they were successful versus how maybe short their careers ended up being, to me, Dwayne Wade's a tricky player like that.
Yeah. Xavier to God, LeBron always loses to older, smaller players.
That's true. Older, small guys. They're always older, though. And then they use the age the other way. Yeah. Facts. So true, man.
Well, I think it may be about time to wrap it up then, because I don't have anything else unless
two
unless you
hours
guys
later.
got something.
2 hours later. Good show.
Is everybody back on Sunday?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there on Sunday.
Cool. I appreciate all of our viewers and commenters and super chatters. Great to have you guys here.
Yeah, for real, man. Everybody in the chat again. It's good to see you guys. Casual Gamer Plays. What up? Powell Gorniak. I see you guys out there. AP 530. D Rebin or Drebin. If I messed that up, excuse me. The guest MC. Thank you guys for coming through. Jam Rid 14. Primal 730. Like again, man, I mean, it said you guys continue to support these live shows. We enjoy doing these live shows with you guys, man. It's a great time. I enjoy being here with my man AOH. So wait, I can't call you Speam anymore, right? You recently changed your name. I thought I saw something about that. Why don't you let us know?
It's so interesting you happen to bring that up. Yeah, I will be transitioning to the Tragic Basketball Show. It fits. It is layered. It is.
Oh, don't let Cantor find out that you're transitioning.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm gonna be pointing out all the narrative BS. I have kids around me. Be combating all the narrative nonsense, and it's nuanced. It's layered. If you're a LeBron fan, you may not get it, but I do invite you to watch it.
My understanding is the channel is the Tragic Basketball Channel, but you are still Speam Engine.
I'll never be anything else other than that, AOH.
Well, you're
good
Richard
for people
Jefferson,
to
let's be
know.
honest.
But yeah, we'll definitely do
one
some
show.
talk
Can't just do
on
one
your channel. If you could get me like a larger thumbnail of your channel logo, I'll make sure and show it off so everybody knows what to look for. But great show, guys.
Yeah.
Certainly thank you for joining as always. AOH, Speam, Sports and Fitness Rants. I always appreciate it. Chat, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for all the supers. We genuinely appreciate it and couldn't do it without you.
Thanks for hosting,
And
Cyberius.
we'll probably see most of you on Sunday.
Yup. Yeah, guys. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, y'all.
Catch you on
All
the
right.
next one.